Welcome back. Let's go live to Evan Lucas, Chief Market Strategist at InvestSMART. Evan, good to see you. We saw the GDP figures yesterday. What does it tell us about how people are spending their money?
Yeah, I think the best way to also ask them that question, just extending it a bit further, is what they're spending their government tax saving on in terms of their tax cuts that they've received. The clearest indication is that they're saving it. So we saw the biggest jump up in savings since the first quarter of 2017. The savings ratio jumped to 4.8%. And you can really extrapolate that out, that is coming from two sources. Your tax cuts, so your 1,080 if you're in a couple, and also the fact that the RBA, through that quarter, so this is the third quarter, you would have got June and July, also saving on the little bit less they're paying in interest. So that was the biggest takeout you saw from that side, and it shows very clearly also the other part of it is consumption in GDP is the lowest it's been since 2008 at 0.1% expansion. That is anemic. It's the only way to describe it in terms of what it says, and it just shows you that the confidence of the average consumer is incredibly low. So even with all of the stimulus that the central bank is giving us from the RBA, what the government is going to give us over the next couple of years, plus the one they've already done, is actually going towards more savings rather than actually going towards the economy. Anemic,
sure, but it is still growth and we're not going backwards. So what is behind this slight growth?
Slight growth is the right word. Government spending is a massive part of that, and that is only going to get bigger over the next sort of 6 years. The other thing is our exports have been an absolute white knight, and the reason for that is value. So the reason I point that out is if you actually look at the amount of exports that we've been doing from 2018 to 19, the actual amount in terms of volume hasn't really changed. It's up about 0.3, 0.4. The value that we get from them, though, is up 10.7% year on year, and that is a huge jump. A lot of it's down to the fact that iron ore prices are much higher than expected, but also the Aussie dollar since around about the 18th of March last year to now is down 19%. So that also helps us in the fact that all those exports, particularly at the top end, iron ore, coal, copper, also a lot of our agricultural products, are priced in US dollars and settled in US dollars, and therefore we have to repatriate them back into Aussie. So all of that is why the trade balance and therefore the net exports we get for GDP is significantly better and therefore impacting to the upside our GDP figure.
Yeah, so the low Australian dollar is really saving us at the moment, isn't it? It means our terms of trade have been really good. Do you think it perhaps saving us from tariffs that Donald Trump has placed on other countries when it comes to aluminium and steel?
It's an interesting question because he is using that exact point at the moment to start targeting other countries, and that is certainly makes me sort of, slightly restless at night, Laura, with regards to thinking about that. He is raising the fact that the US dollar is incredibly strong in his view, and it is, I can't deny that, against pretty much all other currencies as being a headwind, and he therefore points to his own central bank in the Federal Reserve that they should lower rates to try and bring the US dollar down, and the fact that places like Brazil and Argentina are the ones he's targeted recently, but also the euro, and that's why he goes quite hard at places like France and also Germany, that the euro is quite cheap to historical standards to the US dollar because it's so incredibly strong. So it is something to watch in 2020 because, again, looking at what the RBA wants to do, it wants the dollar lower still. And that, therefore, also could, bring the of the president as he leads into an election year. We do have a trade deficit with the US, so maybe that keeps us on the good side, and it has been the reason he hasn't hit us before. But we know that he has his own rules and principles, and, therefore, unfortunately, we could be in the gun.